Hey there, and welcome to I Reckon I'll Read It, the podcast where two oaky gals talk books, share recs, and don't hold back on their mighty big opinions. I'm Beccah.
And I'm Summer. We're so glad you're here. Go ahead and grab some sweet tea, get cozy, and get ready for some good old-fashioned book talk.
We've got a whole heap of books to talk about, and we reckon you're going to want to stick around.
Hi, Beccah.
Hi. I had some weird dreams about our podcast, and I just told you one of them, but then another one I had was that somebody was like reviewing the podcast, and they were like, I look forward to their weird sounds they make at the beginning of every episode.
That was like wish fulfillment dreaming for you.
Because I know that people don't. And I remember waking up and being like, oh yeah, it is cool that we do that. And I was like, no, it's not.
Is it cool?
No. No. But we can't help it. It's like an awkward silence, and I don't do well with that.
We have to fill it somehow. Listeners, if you have another suggestion for how we can fill our opening...
Summer.
I didn't even hear that.
No.
Okay, I didn't even go there. Okay. How we can fill the silence of the opening.
Let's not say.
Okay. Well, on that note,
send us no suggestions, please.
Or do.
Okay, that's funny.
Hi.
Guys, I've been on vacation for like a while.
I haven't seen you in like 3 weeks.
I know, and it's been really depressing.
I have been depressed.
I have. The other day I told my husband, I was like, am I even friends with Summer anymore? Like joking, obviously, because I was like, I miss her.
I missed you so much. And I'm so excited to reignite our book discussion today.
And our love affair. Oh, sorry.
Johnny, are you listening?
Yeah, Johnny. Just kidding. He knows. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm so excited to be back and to see you. This is literally the first time we've seen each other since I've been back.
In weeks. It's been sad.
It's been really sad. But...
Better now.
We're better now, and we're just going to start like this is the most normal thing. My first question back. I've got a spur of the moment question for you, Summer.
Hit me with it.
Okay, so when you think of August, like the month, what does it make you feel?
What does it make me feel?
Like, okay.
Month of August.
Does August bring emotions to you? That's a weird way. Let me give you a little bit more context.
Okay.
I feel like all the time there are songs by artists. I mean, Taylor Swift, Noah Kahan. The list could go on that have like August in their titles.
Yeah.
And they're never like, oh, yay, August, summer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's always like a vibe.
We're in the dog days of summer. It's
kind
hot.
of. Yes.
Everyone's a little like tired and like anxious.
Yes.
And maybe there's a little bit of dread of like the new beginnings about to happen, like new school years, new seasons.
You've had freedom for like 3 months and then you got to go back for like students, you know? Do you feel that when you think of August?
Maybe I could see a little bit of like dread of like going back to work since
Yeah,
both of us
definitely.
work in like a seasonal type
That's
of job.
definitely true for sure.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I think by like the time August hits, I'm really like angsty and kind of over it because I'm ready for cooler weather because we live in
Yes.
Oklahoma. And
Yes.
guys, if you're not listening in Oklahoma,
It's hot.
it's hot. It's so hot. Like currently, I'm looking at my watch. It's 99 right now, but yesterday I got up to 103 at one point, 104, I think.
It was real hot. It was gross.
If anyone's out in Arizona, they're like, pish posh. But
you don't have the humidity.
You don't. Yeah, it's a dry heat.
I lived there. I know. I prefer Arizona.
Same. So I feel like I get to that point. By the time August hits, I'm kind of like, I'm over it. I'm ready. I'm ready for fall.
I do long for some fall vibes. And I think I'm like in the point where I'm looking forward to spooky season. I'm looking forward to maybe like a dark academia, which like has the school vibes, but a little bit of that angst and dread too, maybe.
Yeah, that's like a good September type feel.
Yeah.
So my bookish question to tie to this, I want to make sure we're on the same page of understanding because some people might not feel that way about August. If August was a book genre for you, what would it be?
Well, I just said dark academia calls to me at like the end of August.
Okay.
But August itself,
I mean, that's a genre.
Maybe
though.
like a, I don't read a lot of this, but for some reason it gives me thoughts of like a Southern Gothic that's like sun drenched, or like maybe like oh, what's his name? S.A. Cosby novel. He writes a lot of like kind of like violent, thriller-esque, but like family drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe something like that.
That's good.
Okay.
I like the Southern Gothic. That's a really good one.
What about you?
Honestly, I was going to be like nonfiction, but that's not true. But some nonfiction.
Every genre question.
Yeah.
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction is my answer. That's not actually true, but some styles of nonfiction.
You're ready to like stimulate your brain a little bit again?
No, it's just like they kind of give me like, vibes. Not all. That's why I said that would probably used to be my answer.
Okay.
But I would say something that kind of gives me those like the Dog Days feel are definitely going to be more of those like literary fiction books.
I could see that.
Like some of them are kind of heavy. Sometimes there's like a lot of the family drama, family heaviness. I think that those kind of feel like an August to me a little bit.
There is a book I've been meaning to read that I feel like is an August. It's called The Dry by Jane Harper. And I think it's like set in the Australian outback, like in the heat desert type of thing. Like that feels like an August.
Yeah. But like it's the same kind of question. I feel like if you get into like, there's some books that I've been wanting to read, but I'm like, I can't read them right now because that's like a November book. And it's not even about Christmas. It's just like I need
a specific vibe.
I need vibes, and like that book needs to be read in November, or that book needs to be read in October.
I feel that.
Okay, thanks for
that
validating.
was interesting. That was like getting in touch with our like vibes of like, how do you feel about this?
This needs to be like a TikTok like carousel where it's like this month
every month.
Yeah, our August books.
That's a fun idea.
Yeah.
Good job. Good question.
Thanks. I thought you'd like it. Okay. So it's time for one of our favorite parts of the show, our weekly roundup.
This is where we each share what we just finished, what we're currently reading, and what's up next on the old TBR.
Okay, Summer. What have you recently finished?
Okay.
She won't tell me. I've tried to get out of her.
I haven't told it because I feel like it was a totally random pick, and it's a book that is like part of a series, but I have never dipped my toes into this series until now. And it was so fun, and I think it's one that you could do. So let me pull it up.
Okay, so that means it's a genre that's not my typical. So that just meant.
Okay, the other day I was sitting at home and I just wanted like a funny book. And so I went to on Libby, like available now, comedy novels, and was scrolling through, and I found this one. It was available, and I was like, you know what? I haven't tried this series, but I've seen it everywhere, so I'm going to try it.
Okay.
Finlay Donovan is killing it.
Okay, I would not have known that title, but I've seen that the covers.
Yes. Well, I think we just mentioned this as like a side comment about covers with women.
With glasses? Okay, yeah. I was like, where have I seen this recently? Oh, that's what it was.
Yes, Finlay Donovan is killing it by Elle, Cosimano. I think it came out in 2020, and there's like 5 or 6 of them now. Oh, like Finlay Donovan. Let me see if I can read the list. Finlay Donovan knocks him dead. Finlay Donovan jumps the gun. There's a novella. Veronica Ruiz breaks the bank. Finlay Donovan rolls the dice. Finlay Donovan digs her own grave. Finlay Donovan crosses a line. So like there's a lot of these.
Yeah.
And I've seen them everywhere. I know a lot of people have read them, but I had never read them until now. So let me tell you about it, okay?
Is it Finlay?
Yeah.
Finlay. Okay.
It's murder being a hit mom.
Wait.
I don't think that makes any sense.
No, wait.
But that was the first sentence on this.
Say that again.
It's murder being a hit mom.
What's a hit mom?
I think it's like a hit man.
Okay, not like the workout, like hit.
No.
I was like, there's like a weird capital like T or something here.
No.
Like, okay.
Getting the job done for one single mom takes on a whole new meaning, and Finlay Donovan is killing it. A deliciously witty adult debut, the first in a brilliant new series from YA Edgar Award nominee Elle Cosimano. Okay, I don't know who said that. There's just the beginning of the blurb, but let me continue.
I love when Goodreads does that. It cracks me up.
Yeah. Finlay Donovan is killing it, except she's really not. The new book she promised her literary agent isn't written. Her ex-husband fired the nanny without telling her, and this morning she had to send her 4-year-old to school with her hair duct taped to her head.
What? Okay, what? Sorry. That should never be a scenario.
It makes sense. It makes sense when it happens.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
When Finlay's overheard discussing the plot of her new novel with her agent over lunch, she's mistaken for a contract killer and inadvertently accepts an offer to dispose of a problem husband in order to make ends meet. And she soon discovers that crime in real life is a lot more difficult than its fictional counterpart. Okay, let me tell you about this book.
It sounds cute.
It was cute. It wasn't as like laugh out loud funny as I was hoping for, but it was a ride. And it was a ride in the sense of like Finlay herself is like a chaos demon. Like she makes poor decisions, but like really bad circumstances keep happening to her. And so she has to navigate a lot. And there were so many twists along the way of this book. I was honestly, I don't know. I think I was expecting just like kind of like a poorly written, cute little something. This, honestly, I was impressed with it. Like I thought it was very well plotted, better written than I expected. I think just like the speed that they've come out, I think I just expected them to be like a quick little nothing burger. But I really...
A nothing burger?
Have you not heard that word?
No.
Okay. Well, it's a thing, I promise. No, I feel like it's like a... What is the definition of nothing burger?
I can't.
Something that is or turns out to be insignificant or lacking in substance. I promise you it's a real word. I'm a smart person. I have a good vocabulary.
Well, I've never doubted that.
I expected it to be like lacking substance, like that said. But I was impressed with it. I thought it was like a really solid book all the way throughout. I got a little not overwhelmed, but I was like worried for Finlay sometimes, like the situation she got herself in. But it was fun in like I can't wait to see what's going to happen next type of way. And I'm excited for the rest of the series. Like the way that this book ends sets you up to want to read the next book.
Really? Okay.
So it was really cool and cute and fun. It wasn't like a comforting type of fun, cute book, if that makes sense. Like I was stressed for Finlay and I was worried about her well-being as she got into these increasingly dangerous situations because of like, she kept being like, well, I'm not actually going to kill this person, but I'm going to Google them and see if it's a bad guy. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a pretty bad guy. Maybe I'll just like figure out where he's going to be and I'll go observe him at a bar. And oh, this guy's at a bar and he just like spiked a woman's drink. Maybe I'll go talk to him. And then like, she like keeps getting deeper and deeper.
That's Edward from Twilight. I only ate people who were like bad people.
it's kind of that idea.
I only drain the blood of, rapists and people who were
right. Yeah. Well, that's like the like Dexter guy too. Like he's a serial killer of like bad guys. It's that kind of idea. And you're like, how far are you going to take this, Finlay? And like the way that things keep happening, and like then she's in too deep, and so she's got to like problem solve because she wants to be able to keep her kids because her ex-husband is doing custody stuff. And like there's a lot of stakes. Okay. She's really in debt, so she like kind of needs the money. So but then there's like the mob, and like there's all these things that are happening.
The mob. There's always the mob.
There's always the mob, man. But this was fun.
Okay.
But not in a scary way either. Like that's why I'm saying I think you could do this.
You think I would like it?
I do.
I think I would read it. I don't know if it's like I want to read that like right now. But it does sound like I could get into it.
It was good for the moment I was in of like I needed something just to kind of propel me forward with my reading.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I finished this in less than 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was good.
I'm in. I reckon I'd read it.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay, Beccah, what have you recently finished?
Okay. So what I'm about to talk about is the 5th book of a series, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because I introduced it, I'm pretty sure on the last podcast, as my up next. And it was that cowboy series.
I know what you're talking about. This is like the Hannah Bailey books.
Yes. And no.
Bailey Hannah.
Bailey Hannah.
They're both first names.
They are. I was like, wait, that is not quite right, but kind of. Okay. So I wanted to bring it back because I wanted to talk to you about it.
Okay.
So I've read all 5 at this point. The first one was
Beccah.
I know. The first one was The Alive and Wells.
Alive and Wells.
Alive and Wells.
Said with a cowboy drawl.
Yeah. So you have Alive and Wells, Seeing Red, Change of Heart, At Wit's End, and Love Wells Kept. Because Wells is like...
I thought Wells was in all the titles. Just a couple. Okay.
No, but the Wells Farm is in all of them. Okay, so I read the blurb of the last one, so I don't necessarily want to like read through. I mean, this is like the 5th book, so I don't want to like read the blurb. What I want to do though is I want to kind of set these books up in a different way since I've read it.
Okay.
Okay. So I ended up really liking all of these books. They were definitely that like itch of like I want to read a cowboy romance.
Stop. I have to stop you right there.
Okay.
You gave me so much crap about saying the word itch.
I know, and I've been saying it so much.
You've said it so much.
Guys, I literally sent Summer and like some friends a message the other day. I was like, why do I keep saying it's an itch I want to scratch? And I was like, it's grossing me out every time I say it.
You give me so much crap for it.
I know.
And now it's just part of your lexicon.
No, it's because you like put a worm into my brain.
I gave you an itch to scratch.
It's so gross, but I still say it. And I literally was trying to think of like, what's another word than itch? And I couldn't. And so I just went with it because I didn't want to sit here and be like, what's another word?
Scratch that itch, Beccah. Do it.
Ugh, okay. But these books scratch that itch, Summer. I don't know. It felt right for summer, like, well, but summer season of like, I think a cowboy series would be fun because we had a lot of fun with the Rebel Blue energy drink from Dutch Brothers.
Rebel Blue Ranch.
Thank you, Rebel Blue. I was really close that time.
Yes.
Rebel Blue Ranch we had fun with, and there was like another one that I think that we did that we had fun with.
What other cowboy books have you read? I know I've read all the Elsie Silvers.
Those I think
You think you're ready for her now?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I think I'm ready.
Do the Chestnut Springs ones first.
Okay, I'll start there.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted to bring these back, because I really thought about like, it's the 5th one. Why would I bring that? Okay. These books all have a very different trope attached to them. Mm-hmm. And I hate almost every one of these tropes that was attached to these books. And so even the 5th book, I was like, am I just done? Am I going to read this one? Because I hate what's about to happen in this book.
What was the trope?
I'm not telling you yet.
Oh.
So I was like, there's no way that I'm going to like enjoy these. I thought I'd read the first one and kind of like, and then the second one, whatever. I enjoyed every one of them.
Wow.
And they were tropes that I don't like, but I thought that they were well done.
Good job, Bailey Hannah.
Right. So I wanted to bring them back and kind of describe them by trope.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell me.
So Alive and Wells, the first one, that's the one I read. I ended up giving almost all these 4 stars, by the way. I really enjoyed them. They weren't like 5-star books for me.
Which cowboy romance? I don't know that you've ever given a cowboy romance 5 stars.
And that's the thing. In like a few months, they may not hit the same. The last one, I didn't love how it ended. It was okay. It just wasn't my preferred ending. So it probably wasn't a 4-star, but I was like, I ended up not hating a book about that trope. So you know what? I think that's why I gave them 4 stars. Like
you were like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, you did okay with a trope I hate. So the first one we talked about last book club was like the woman who like was in the abusive relationship with her husband.
A woman in peril.
Yeah, and she like goes to the town, and we kind of compared it to like Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. That's a Nicolas Cage.
I wish he would write books.
Right. That trope, I was kind of like, okay, like whatever. Like it. I don't like hate it, but I'm also sure.
I can do a romantic suspense with a woman in peril.
Right. So I was like, I'm going to get into this. It's fine. Super cute. Really liked it. Of course, because like they're the cowboy romances, I'm pretty sure it was this one. There's a lot of like sweetheart, where it's like, okay, like you don't got to call her sweetheart every 2 seconds kind of thing. One of the Blue Rebel Ranch books did that too. I think it was the first one, and that one too. He called her like,
it's a cowboy.
I know. So that one I was kind of like, I liked it. I liked it enough that I wanted to read the next one. Okay. So the second one was Seeing Red. And Seeing Red is probably my favorite of all of them. And Seeing Red is actually the one who's not, well, no, there's 2. He's not actually a brother, but he was raised with them.
Yeah.
So he's like the adopted brother who's been there his whole life.
So that's also a very common trope in these book series.
But this one was the accidental pregnancy.
Ooh.
Which I don't like.
Right.
They just are like, ugh. But I will say, I don't know if it was framed that the accidental pregnancy happened like immediately. Like it started.
That's
it wasn't like they were
they got together.
Yeah, it wasn't like they got together, accidentally got pregnant, and that became the conflict. It was more like they had kind of a one-night stand. But they knew each other, but it was like, let's make someone jealous kind of thing. But they were drinking, and so, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
They made him jealous, I guess, you know. So they get pregnant, but it's not instantly like, well, we have to be together. But he's like, this is my baby, so like I'm going to like be there. And so he's like going to doctor's appointment. Like, but they're like friends at first, just doing this, and then like develop a relationship through that. I don't know. I liked.
Okay.
It was really interesting, and I liked it. And I don't love that trope very much.
Okay.
But I also loved Red. And let me tell you what. Last time I told you that these books had that mature rating on them, and I had never seen that listed like in an actual blurb. The first one I read, I was like, I mean, okay, like, yeah, it was a lot, but it's not really different than most books that have some steam in it. I'm pretty sure it was this one that I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Book 2 is real steamy.
I'm pretty sure it was book 2 that I was like, oh, just like very
frequent,
and like maybe just a little bit more graphic than normal. Like I would definitely say these are like 4 Chili Pepper books.
Ah, okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it
Maybe
does.
not each one of them, but the moments that they do things are very 4 Chili Pepper.
Yeah.
As in like lots of description. So I think that is a warning going into
There's a lot of hand motions going on.
I was like trying to make chili peppers with my hands, and I was just like waving them. I don't know what that was. Okay, so unexpected pregnancy was trope 2. Again, one of my least favorites. The third book, Change of Heart. The trope that this one is a second chance romance, which is also not one of my favorites.
No, mine either.
Like dated when they were young, something happened. They were like, hadn't seen each other in like 14 years, comes back to town. Again, thought I would like not care about it. So invested.
Okay.
These two are actually probably 2 of my favorite characters. Like this is one of the brothers. There's also like a lot of like, again, this happens before the series opens. Like the mom has died. And so like a lot of like heartbreak for the family through that. But this one, like because it's in the past, this one goes the chronological where it goes 14 years in the past, present, 14 years. I don't always love that in books unless it's done well.
Yeah.
This one was done so well because you get the mom and you get, so I really liked it. And I loved them. Like they were 2 of my favorite characters.
You're so invested in this family.
I know. That's why I was like, I had to bring this back because I feel like I need to give it a little bit more of a shout out. And then the 4th one was At Wit's End. This is single mom and has like a 10-year-old. Kid starts going to the farm like to get some of that angst out, you know? And so this is a friendship between one of the farm hands. So it's not the brother. It's not a brother. It's just one of the other guys working at the farm. But again, like a pretty like consistent one. He's been in all the books. And the relationship between him and the kid, which then develops between him and the mom.
I do like that.
And it's definitely like, you love like when a dad loves the kids or like the love interest like loves the kids that aren't his.
Yeah.
This one.
Okay.
Again, not one I'm not a big, I mean like I don't hate it, but it's not like I'm not
You don't
searching.
seek it out.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
seek it out.
If
Loved
you
it.
do, have I got a cowboy alien book to recommend to you?
I thought you were gonna say, do I have a book to recommend, and then say like the Rogue one. I'm like, Summer, you already did that and I read it.
Oh no, Cowboy Alien has a good one too.
Okay, so that was At Wit's End. Loved it. But the whole like found family,
Yeah.
friends to lovers,
Okay.
which is not one of my favorites.
No,
so
mine
again,
either.
right. Like I liked it a lot. The 5th one though, this is the one that I was like, do I even want to read it? I did not think I was even going to read it, Summer. It just came out. This is the most recent of them. It was published in July of this year. And I was like, oh, I don't care. This, of all of these tropes, this is the absolute worst one. And I was like, well, Beccah, you got to freaking read it.
What is
Like
it?
you've read 4 or 5. Take a guess. What is a trope that you know I detest? And we've laughed about it before because you're like, how many books with that trope?
Billionaire?
No, but I don't really like that one either. That you've laughed at me and you've been like, are you reading a lot of books with that trope? Because I don't think it comes up very often. Well, this was a whole book about it.
I don't know. Tell me.
Amnesia.
That was very dramatic. I'm sorry.
But it was a good response to how you know I feel about it.
Yes.
The listeners do not know how intense that I hate that trope. And so the fact that I read this book, it was like literally crying, Summer.
You were crying?
Do I cry in books?
You don't cry in books. You don't read amnesia books.
Summer. This is like the one. Okay, so this
book made you cry and you still were like, maybe 4 stars.
Yes, because... Oh, okay, I'll tell you. We'll get there. So... Well, one, new fear unlocked with this book, okay? So that's probably why I was crying so much, because I was probably like hyperventilating, like, anyways. So these two characters, it's a brother and his wife, but they're already married in book 1.
And then someone gets amnesia.
So he gets like kicked. Yes. And so he has like a cerebral, like, whatever, like the surgery where they have to like cut out part of your skull to like get the pressure and blood off your brain.
So this is like The Vow by Nicholas Sparks.
I've not read that one, probably because I saw that set up and said nope. But probably it wouldn't surprise me. Sounds like a very Nicholas Sparks book. So I was like, at first, okay, so he loses his memory because of like this surgery. So when he wakes up, this is all like really early, okay? He wakes up and obviously
doesn't know her.
He doesn't know her. Because it's like they've been together like 16 years. So it's not necessarily short-term memory, but he really only remembers like, he knows he has brothers and like he recognizes his dad because his dad at least looks the same as his dad did when he was like younger, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like, he believes much quicker that the two guys are his brothers because he's like, I mean, yes, you look like my brothers. It's just I don't remember this version of you. He knows that he has like memory loss and he knows that she's his wife, but he doesn't have any memory of her. But I mean, he like can see pictures, like he knows, he just doesn't
feel it. Yeah.
And so like he doesn't push her away though. Like he more goes through like his own like grief of like loss and like, it would be better if I died kind of thing because this is more brutal.
Yeah. Seriously, new fear unlocked.
Yeah, right. And so like he was like more like depressed because he's like, I have this woman who loves me and she's beautiful and she's not given up on me, but I can't remember any moments with her kind of thing.
That makes my stomach drop.
Right. But he doesn't like, I will say like, I was afraid with a lot of these, like I was afraid he would be like, I don't want you around me.
Yeah.
There was none of that. He was very much like,
it was more internal.
Yes, and it was more of him, like he was really, like they would talk about it and stuff, being like, I want you here because I know that I love you. I just don't remember you. So he doesn't try to push her away, which I did appreciate.
Yeah.
But they have 2 kids.
He doesn't remember the kids.
He does not remember his children.
Oh.
Right. And so obviously by the time they get back home, like by the time he's released, because it's been like a while, because that kind of injury, like you don't just go home like the next day.
Brain surgery.
Right. And so like she has like tried to tell him like this is our history and like she's told them their stories, like she's shown him pictures of the kids. This is all really pretty early on. I'm not doing any spoilers. I mean, you could kind of assume this would have to happen.
Yeah.
So when he gets home, like he knows who they are and he believes they're his.
Yeah.
But there's like no emotional attachment to these children. And because he's also going through recovery and he's having all these like painful headaches and migraines, like the kids are like making him like he keeps yelling at them because they're hurting him. And like he was never that kind of dad.
Trauma.
Right. And so he's like, why? Like, I don't want to be around them because I'm so mean kind of thing. He's not like mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like he just like snaps at them, like be quiet or what, because his head is hurting so bad, but they've never had that version of him. It was messy. But what I wanted, can I tell you what I wanted? This is a spoiler, people, in this sense of like,
this doesn't happen.
Skip. But I think it is important to know if these kind of books would be triggering for you.
You know how I feel about expectations. So,
right. This is like an expectations thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever fully get all of his memories back at the end.
Oh, you were expecting that to happen.
I wanted, because slowly, you know, with amnesia and a lot of these stories, like a moment will happen. And those things do happen. Like he hears a song at one point and he's like, hey, this song, because he remembers the song. And she's like, yes, that or whatever. And I kept waiting for a moment like that to happen.
Where they all.
Yes. Or like particularly with the children. That was the harder thing with me. There was no full remembrance of the children. So he had to like re-fall in love with them.
But it was all new.
But it was all new.
Reconnecting with the old memories.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's hard.
And so that's why I said like it didn't end like I wanted. I didn't need this like perfect bow at the end, but I wanted there to be a moment where he remembered like the birth of his kids.
Yeah.
Because that's like a big thing for him.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember like holding them. Like I never remember that moment. That one I was like, I need something to happen where he remembers like what I hoped for was like an epilogue where it's like they have another kid, because that's also a part of this conversation. There's also some like trigger warnings in this one of like miscarriage, things like that that are needed to know, because I didn't know and that was hard.
Yeah.
And I was hoping there'd be like a future epilogue where they have a baby, and when he holds that baby,
he has the experience.
And he's like, I kind of remember, but like none of that happens.
Gotcha.
So it's like a brand new love story of him and his wife re-falling in love through tragedy.
Crazy.
Yes. But I will say, guys, if I enjoyed it, I think it's worth the read.
Honestly, yeah, for that to have ended up being a hit for you, like with all of those things.
I hate.
Yeah, it had to have been pretty good.
I think it was well written in the sense that she handled a lot of it well.
Yeah.
And I think it's honestly more... I think it's more realistic that she didn't give him all his memories back.
Right.
I just wanted that.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. That wasn't cleaned up for me.
That you told me that.
I think it's needed, to be honest, because I kept waiting the whole book for it to happen.
Right.
And I just wish I would have known of like, hey, this is a completely new like journey for him. Like he does again. He gets memories back. I'm not want to say he doesn't get anything back, but yeah, it's not everything.
Yeah.
So sorry that was like a little bit extended, but I felt like these books needed a little bit of a shout out, because
I enjoyed that.
Especially for them kind of being like that steamy cowboy book. Like I kind of had a feeling of what these books were going to be.
But they were a little bit more.
I thought there was a lot more depth to them.
Honestly, I'm glad to know that.
I think you will really like them, to be honest.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I reckon I'll read them.
Yep.
I was already planning to. Just haven't got there.
Sorry, let's move on.
Okay.
Okay, what are you currently reading?
I do like that you broke our rules and you brought 5 recently finished books.
I know, I'm
you
so
broke
sorry.
Our rules last week, too.
I'll go really short on my currently reading, because you'll understand why when I get there.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
What are you currently reading?
My current read is also a series that I also don't want to spend too much time talking about, because we've mentioned it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I am currently reading Crescent City Book 2.
I knew this one, y'all.
You did know this one, and we have talked about it because this is your favorite Sarah J. Maas series, right?
Yeah, and which was kind of a journey, because ACOTAR was always my favorite. But the more, because I've read them all multiple times, on my rereads of Crescent City, it kept going up and up and up. And there's just things that I like about it a little bit more. I think it like edges up just a little bit.
Okay.
Sorry for that loud click right there. That was me going up on the...
Prior to like a month ago, the only Sarah J. Maas books I had read were books 1 through 4 of ACOTAR. And I just haven't read book 5. But then, like I talked about a couple episodes ago, our friend group is reading Throne of Glass. And then at our last book club, I was told in no uncertain terms that I had to read all of Crescent City and ACOTAR number 5 before ACOTAR number 6 comes out.
Which
in
anyone
October.
who is a fan is like, yeah, Summer, you have to.
Yeah, but that was just a lot of books in a little time, and I wasn't prepared. So I'm reading a lot of Sarah J. Maas.
To my defense, I've been telling you to read these books for more than the last 3 weeks.
I know. I just forget how time works sometimes. So I have read 2 Throne of Glass books. I've read the first Crescent City book, and I'm on Crescent City number 2, which is technically House of Sky and Breath. But since it's book 2, I'll read a little blurb for book 1, House of Earth and Blood, which I already told Beccah these are only just Crescent City 1, 2, and 3 in my mind, because that's a lot of words.
The houses are confusing her just a little bit.
It's a little amorphous in my brain.
That's what I'm saying. Like the first time, and not that I was like confused, but like when you read it for the second time and you understand what's going on, you like pick up. This is a book that like you read, but if you reread it, you're reading the same story, but you pick up so much more because you understand the world.
I've always heard that too about Sarah J. Maas, that she plants so many things in her early books that you really need to reread them to like appreciate it all.
Right.
Which is wild to
And
me.
I think Crescent City is a big one for that personally. And Throne of Glass. I see it more in Throne of Glass and Crescent City than I do ACOTAR. So.
Okay, quick blurb. Bryce Quinlan had the perfect life, working hard all day and partying all night until a demon murdered her closest friends, leaving her bereft, wounded, and alone. When the accused is behind bars, but the crimes start up again, Bryce finds herself at the heart of the investigation. She'll do whatever it takes to avenge their deaths. Hunt Athalar is a notorious fallen angel, now enslaved to the archangels he once attempted to overthrow. His brutal skills and incredible strength have been set to one purpose: to assassinate his boss's enemies, no questions asked. But with the I know how you feel about Hunt.
I love me some Hunt.
But with the demon wreaking havoc in the city, he's offered an irresistible deal. Help Bryce find the murderer, and his freedom will be within reach. As Bryce and Hunt dig deep into the Crescent City's underbelly, they discover a dark power that threatens everything and everyone they hold dear, and they find in each other a blazing passion, one that could set them both free if they only let it. With unforgettable characters, sizzling romance, and page-turning suspense, this richly inventive this dramatized audiobook. I know how you feel about that. New York Times bestselling author Sarah J. Maas delves into the heartache of loss, the price of freedom, and the power of love. So this has been really fun. I have heard you talk up this series so much, and I've just never really been interested in it. And I think it's like the Zootopia reference that just like never interested me.
Did I make this reference? That's about me. Okay, that's not about Sarah J. Maas. Because it's more modern.
Yeah.
But I say it's more like Zootopia, not just because it's all different breeds of fantastical creatures, but for me, like a setting piece. Like
because of like the city.
Yes. So like you have Zootopia, but within Zootopia, you have the tundra, you have whatever they're all called. And they're all in the same city, but it's like different districts that like a certain group lives in.
Yeah.
When I'm saying that, it's about the different houses.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, if you live in the house of earth and blood, that's where the humans live. That's where the half human, half fae live. That's where the wolves live. That's what the reference means.
And I do, having read this, I do understand the reference, and I agree because of all of those things. I think I was just imagining like a very childlike, very colorful.
Oh,
like,
it ain't childlike.
No, it's almost like a noir because it's like detective-y, and it's
especially
always
book one.
Dark.
I mean, they kind of all are, but book one for sure.
It's always dark and rainy in the city, and so I have had so much fun with this. I started book 2 very recently, yesterday, honestly, and I'm already so into book 2. Like, I just want to read it, which surprises me. I feel like, I don't know why I always underestimate Sarah J. Maas books. Well,
you underestimate my recommendations? I mean,
no.
When it comes to fantasy books,
Maybe.
I think it's more the fantasy of it.
I think it's like a harder sell for me sometimes. And then I always
it's the
end
same
up
with, I mean,
invested.
I'm acting really judgy when I do the same thing to you.
Yeah.
Whenever you're trying to sell like any type of
mystery,
somewhat mystery or thriller.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm having so much fun with it so far.
Yeah. She had me worried, guys, because if you've read Crescent City and you've like followed it since it came out, so many people when it came out were like, the first 100 pages are brutal because it's just so much world building. I didn't think that, but I like world building. But that's like been a commentary about the book. And when Summer and one of our friends who's reading it like with her, like buddy reading it with her, we're both like, I don't know, I'm just like not in yet. And I was like, guys, please don't give up. I was so worried that they were going to give up on it. And I was going to be sad.
Oh no, I loved book 1. I am reading the dramatized like graphic audio, which I do not love, but I'm used to it by now. I'm like,
I feel like you need to change.
24 plus hours into it now.
Yeah.
But it was a different reading experience because of that. Yeah, I finished because it's in like 2 parts on Libby. I finished part 1 and I was like, that's it. Like I forgot that it was a part 1 and part 2. Like they just introduced a brand new character and the book ended and there was like nothing that happened at the end. It was like, oh, I'm only halfway through the book.
Right. So we actually I kind of went on a journey because they've been talking about it. So now I'm like, guys, I got to freaking reread it. So I was trying to find the non-dramatized version because I do not love that. And I've heard from you guys, this one's not a very good one either. Like some of the dramatized people do like.
I like it in sci-fi. I don't know that I like it in fantasy.
Yeah. And like one thing that like the romance parts are real weird.
Steamy scenes are very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For someone that reads steamy books, me.
It's not the content.
It's still just a little weird, uncomfortable.
You need someone acting it out for you.
I don't need the sound effects.
So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I was trying to find it. I was looking, obviously Libby doesn't have, they only have the dramatized. Hoopla only has the, I don't know if Hoopla has either.
Audible exclusives?
So the Elizabeth Evans narration is Audible exclusive because they're the ones who made it.
Oh.
Yes.
I see.
So that's why it's an Audible only because the dramatized ones you can get on multiple platforms.
Right.
But not the non-dramatized.
Yeah.
So that sucks. But I have access to them now on Audible.
So I'm having so much fun with it. This is a very long-winded way of saying I'm currently reading a lot of Sarah J. Maas. I'm still in the middle of Throne of Glass. I hope you don't
get burned.
I hope I don't get burned. I'm really enjoying them so far. So, and I think they're all different enough that I'm currently reading Throne of Glass and Crescent City.
I think because you have the modern and the older feeling, even though I think that Throne of Glass feels a little bit more modern than ACOTAR does, personally, it's still so different.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited for you.
Yeah. I hope that was interesting to the listeners because boy, am I reading a lot of Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah. Well, for the listeners who do like Sarah J. Maas, if you have been like on the fence of like, should I read Crescent City or not? I think it's going to be very significant for the new ACOTAR book coming out.
Yeah.
Because Crescent City 3 and Silver Flames overlap. So I do think it's significant.
As someone who has been more of a reluctant Sarah J. Maas reader, I support her. I affirm her.
Thank you.
I just, for some reason, have been slower to read them. I am having a lot of fun with it. So, yeah.
It's really good.
Okay.
Okay.
What are you currently reading?
Okay. So this is the one that I'm not going to spend a lot of time on because I have brought this series to the podcast at least once, maybe twice. But the new book just came out.
Is it Accomplice to the, or that's not the current one?
The current one. That's the first one. The current one is, Assistant to the Villain's the first one. It's Assistant to the Villain, Accomplice to the Villain, Apprentice, and now Adversary to the Villain. So I started this one yesterday. You guys know I love these books. They're so goofy and silly and funny and satirical, and I just like love them.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like them because of those exact reasons. I will say, like, I don't forget a lot about books very much. Like, I actually have a pretty good recall on like what happened in books, even though like I read them pretty quickly. I will say where this one opened up, it opened like immediately after book 3. So if you haven't started it yet, I had to go back to the last 10 chapters of book 3 and re-listen because like there were things like it was immediate. Like a friend walks in and it's like, we just did this. And it's like, they did? And I had to like go back and look at the last book to remember. So that's one tip I would give to anybody who's about to pick it up or go watch like a recap. But I will say I watched a couple recaps and it didn't go into detail on the few things that like it was referencing. So I got more out of just going and listening to like the last, I think it was like 10 or 15 chapters, but you haven't read them yet, but they switch between voices. So I only read Evie and the villain's perspective, so you could skip all the other characters. Okay. So it ended up only needed to read like 7 chapters, I think.
Okay.
So if you've not read these yet, I definitely recommend. It's obviously she gets hired by an evil villain to be almost like his admin. But of course there's like this romance, but like not. It's just like this tension between them. It's crackling like a fire.
Again, great hand motions.
Right. And then it continues to kind of get like worse and more like, well, more tense. But this is not a book where they're like jumping in and out of bed all the time. Like it's not, they don't have a moment even kind of like that till book 3.
Didn't you say this feels a little bit more YA?
It does to me. It's not very graphic. I'd say it's pretty closed door. Mm-hmm. Obviously, reference of like, oh, like I might want to do this. But like when it gets to the action, it's pretty mild. This one's interesting though, because I can't tell you why. That's why I can't read the plot because
it's book 4.
Yeah. So the end of book 3 is a major twist. And so this book is explaining the twist. But you know what I found out, Summer?
Is there going to be another book?
There's going to be another one.
You're kidding.
Guys, if you've been on this journey with me, this started as a duology. And so I kept being like, well, when are they going to get together? Like, I've got like 5% left. And then I was like, there's no way that she can wrap this up. Because it was published as like a duology to start with, is how it was like advertised, I guess. And then it was like, oh no, it's going to be a trilogy. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was so mad. So then like I finally get book 3 and I'm like, yay, this is it. Like I'm finally going to, and then getting close to the end of book 3, I was like,
a big twist.
How's this going to like have closure? And then I was like, are you kidding me? There's a book 4. So I was like, okay. And I remember on the podcast being like, there are now 4. And she has said like, this is the last one.
I think we even questioned it at the time. And I guess we were right.
Yeah. There's going to be a 5th one. And the only reason, again, I had no clue. I was on socials, like trying to find a recap of the 3rd book. Cause I wanted to make sure I remembered all the big details. And someone was like, there's going to be spoilers for this though. So if you haven't done this like before book 5, and I was like, what? And so like I Googled it and I was like, are you kidding me?
So I also saw on social media people like vaguely being very frustrated. And I realized it was about this book series. So I was like, oh no, is there another book? There is.
Yeah, a book 5. I hope I still get closure in this book. Because if I have to wait like another year, it's almost making me mad at this point. Where I'm like, you keep like dangling a last book in front of me and then you keep like ending on something major, and it's kind of like annoying at this point.
That is wild to do it over and over and over again. Like surely she knows her writing process at this time to be like, oh, I think there might be more, so I'm not going to say this is the final installment.
And I'm wondering if this is like a publishing thing. Like I wonder if it's like it's kind of meant to kind of annoy people. I don't know. Like if it's like a game a little bit,
right?
Like, well, I'm not going to surprise. There's another one, but I'm like, but I don't like it.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I'm hoping that I get closure with this one and then be like, ooh, okay, I'm excited to see the wrap up of everything.
I hope that it's still an enjoyable experience.
Oh, I'm loving the book because it's just so funny to me. So
I reckon I'll read it. I need to get to these. I have not. I guess, again, I just need to follow your recommendations more.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think, obviously, you have to get past your era you're in right now, your SGA, your SJM era right now.
Yeah.
But I do think this one would be, these are like those quick books. Like I'm going to finish this in two days. You know, I started it yesterday and I'm already almost done with it because they're just quick. Okay. Summer, let's wrap this part up. What are you about to read?
Okay. So what I'm about to read is something I didn't know existed until I saw a trailer on social media for an upcoming adaptation.
Okay.
And then it said like from the book. And I was like, oh, what book? So this is Excavations by Kate Myers.
Excavations.
Excavations.
Oh, I've literally never heard of this.
Never heard of this, but
cool little cover though.
On the cover it says funny, smart, and deeply delicious. Amy Poehler said that. And that's because it's soon to be a major TV series on Peacock starring Amy Poehler.
Really?
Yeah.
Who wrote it? I'm sorry, did you already say?
Kate Myers.
Kate Myers.
Mm-hmm. It's only 288 pages, so it seems pretty short. But let me tell you about it. On a remote archaeological site in Greece,
I'm in.
The mythic home of the first Olympics, 4 women discover an unusual artifact. It's a piece of history that definitely shouldn't exist. And for the head archaeologist in charge, a relic himself, it means something's gone horribly wrong. Elise, Kara, Z, and Patty all find themselves digging here together, but they couldn't be further apart. Kara's a polished conservator calling off her wedding. Patty and her bowl cut are desperate for love. Millennial Z just got dumped and fired again. And Elise, their star excavator, is a lone wolf about to go rogue. To figure out what they're really digging for and to topple the man who wants to hide their history, these dirt-crusted colleagues have to become what they've avoided for years. Friends. If they put their own messes aside for one summer, they might just make the discovery of a lifetime.
Oh, I'm in.
Doesn't it sound cute?
Okay, I love a book about friendship.
Right. And like the cast of people that are in the adaptation, I'm like, I think I have a vibe of what this is going to be. So I'm curious about it. I'm excited about it. I have a hold on Libby for it.
Can I like, I'm going to drop something and it's going to make me sound really pretentious and cool, okay?
Okay. Make you sound pretentious and cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to travel drop. No, I'm going to travel drop. I have been to Greece and I've been to...
Wow.
So our guide in Greece, his family, like... I don't want to say he owns the city because that's probably too big. But he's like... His important. Where like Agamemnon's like... Where they're doing all the digs to see if like for all the whatever. I don't know. So that area of Greece, our tour guides, his family is like the one who has like that area. And like we ate at his family's restaurant. He told us all about like the digs they were doing and like what they have found. And like the tour ended up being very like this, like archaeological, just because of who our guide was. We went for literature purposes, but because of who he was, we got like this really interesting like archaeological perspective of everything.
That's cool.
And it was really cool. So this like feels exciting just for that.
Yeah, you have some connection.
Yeah, like again, it's like super pretend. Like, oh, this one time when I went to Greece,
my tour guide is like really important.
This book's actually about him. So, he is Kate Myers. That's his like
pen name.
His pen name. But this is really cool. Like this sounds exciting, and it took me back there to be like, oh, I've seen what those sites look like. That's fun.
That is quite the travel drop.
It really is. Thank you guys. Let's put a piece of hair behind my ear. I have headphones on. Like,
do you reckon you would read this?
Oh, I do. I actually feel like I'm going to try to pick it up pretty quickly, just because I think that that's really intriguing.
And it's short.
Yeah,
sounds cute. So I've been in a Greek mode ever since I saw the Odyssey, and then I watched season 2 of Percy Jackson on Disney Plus because that's like Percy Jackson's version of the Odyssey.
Of course.
So this just feels like it's gonna fit in well.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool. I'm gonna mark it as want to read for sure.
What is up next for you?
Okay, so Summer, as I gave you like so much like, oh, you don't take my recommendations and all these things, like I'm reading a book that you have been telling me to read.
Really?
Like basically since like the origin of our friendship.
Really?
You've also told me multiple times. You've referenced this book multiple times on the podcast. You've never brought it though. It's a nonfiction book, Invisible Women.
Oh, Beccah, you're gonna go on a journey.
By Caroline, is it Criado?
Criado.
Perez. I'm very excited. I told Summer one of the reasons I hadn't been reading this book is I thought it was about something different. And then the more one of her and our friends were talking about it, and I was like, oh, great, they've both read it. Like now I need to pick it up. So
you're going to do it. I'm
going to do it. I'm going to pick it up. But obviously I've looked at like the intro a little bit and stuff like that. And it's not at all what I was thinking. But let me read the blurb really quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Data is fundamental to the modern world. From economic development to healthcare to education and public policy, we rely on numbers to allocate resources and make crucial decisions. But because so much data fails to take into account gender, because it treats men as the default and women as atypical, bias and discrimination are baked into our systems, and women pay tremendous costs for the bias in time, money, and often with their lives. Celebrated feminist advocate Caroline Criado Perez investigates the shocking root cause of gender inequality and research in Invisible Women, diving into women's lives at home, the workplace, the public space, the doctor's office, and more. Built on hundreds of studies in the U.S., the UK, and around the world, and written with energy, wit, and sparkling intelligence, this is a groundbreaking, unforgettable expose that will change the way you look at the world.
I'm sitting over here literally like snapping.
She was literally like air snapping. Okay, so this is what... When I hear of a book like this, everyone on this podcast knows, like, we both eat books like this up. But not everyone does. I know feminism as a term, as a label, can be triggering for some people, even women or whatever. I think that's because it's a misinterpretation of what feminism actually means. But I understand sometimes where those people are coming from. I'm like, I get what you're saying, but that's not actually what the word means or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation. But to be honest, like I said, I went ahead and read the like introduction to it, and I was expecting it to kind of be like really blunt and in your face. Like, men have done this. Women are now paying for it because of men. Blah, blah. I kept
just
feeling,
like a lot of blame.
Yes, like a lot of blame pointed towards men.
Is what you expected.
Is what I expected. But again, I'm a critical thinker. So it's like I can take that really strong bias and be like, okay, tone it down a little bit in my head. But I didn't really get that. Like, obviously it is talking about how this data or data, however you prefer to say it, is bias towards men. But she's not just coming out saying, well, this is just man's fault. Mm-hmm. She's saying that, like, because of, like, historically, obviously, men were the heads of the home. And not just like, 30 years ago. I mean, beginning of time almost. Like, that has been a pretty strong, like, patriarchal system. Obviously, there are some societies who it's not. But because of that, it's almost like shaped how we think. And that is where this bias comes from, is that over time, when we've continued to think about things with males at the top, it's obviously created these holes that don't take women into consideration.
Yep.
And I think that one is a much more approachable way to talk about this topic, where I was telling my husband that I was reading it, and I was like, I love the way she's presented. So far, I've only read the introduction. Now, granted, she could get a little bit more, I'm going to say aggressive for lack of a better term, but maybe more passionate, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Point of view.
Because it's not aggressive as in like she's angry, but it could get more pointed where it's like men. I've not felt that in the introduction. And I said, I appreciate that because I think men could read this book and not be like, okay, why are we always the problem? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
This is a book I wish everyone would read for that. It is very much just like statement of fact rather than assigning blame. Yeah. It's more like a cause and effect. It's more like she's like, hey, it doesn't matter so much how we got here. We're here. And because we're here, we have to figure out what to do with that and how can we, these invisible women, mm-hmm. what it means is like all these like holes and things where women haven't been considered. Like, what do we do with that now? Yeah. It's not about like, let's go into the past and point out how all this happened. It's more like, this is a reality. Mm-hmm. So how do we how do we expose that? How do we create a more like equal and equitable mm-hmm. society? Yeah.
Yeah. And bring exposure to the issue, which I think is so brilliant because I think sometimes when we're having these arguments of like feminism and things like that, like, the end goal is always great, but your tone and the way you present things always matter. Yeah. And if you, again, part of me is like, grow up, but at the same time, like, if you're always just male blaming, how are you going to get men to like get on board with feminism? Like, when you find strong men who are like true feminists and support women, it's like, wow, it's so beautiful. We need more men like that. Well, it's really hard when men are constantly being told like, well, you're the problem and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. It's the same reason if we go to the core of like why a lot of race issues happen. It's like, well, we need more equality. We need to bring all these things together. But it's like, oh, well, white people, you're doing this, or Hispanic, you're doing this. It becomes about like a whole people group doing something. And it's like, yeah, there's truth to that, but that's also not productive because too many people get defensive. Like, our gut reaction as humans is to get defensive. Like, we're going to try to protect ourselves. And if you can't be, I'm trying to be really careful with my words because they're all going to come out offended. Like, but if you can't be mature enough to work through that and be like, hey, I might be defensive, but I need to let that go. I need to hear this out. I don't think that's as common. And so I like that it's not this very like aggressive approach. It's more like, oh, this is just reality. Let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. So anyways.
And aside from anything feminism or buzzy things like that, like, I think this is a very important book as a woman. Like, I never thought about certain things, and I am now more informed when I am having discussions with my doctor about potential medications and things. I know questions to ask about. Well, were the clinical trials done on women? were all of these factors considered? Because a lot of times they're not.
And that's like what this book goes into. Like,
Yeah.
I guess that's important to kind of note. Like, that is the kind of things. It's like, hey, when you're getting these medicines you're taking, a lot of times they've never been tested, or the research wasn't specific towards women. It was based on male exposure.
Right. Because they'll say there are too many factors to have to like control for with women because of hormones and different things. So they just won't even, so we don't even know if medication is efficable for women, and yet it's being prescribed to women.
Right.
Or there are all of these things that we don't know about pregnancy. There's so many things.
It's incredible. Like, even in the introduction,
Yeah.
these are like two things that blew my mind. One of them you had talked about before, but I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, by standard, like what businesses like set their like thermostats at is to consider men who are wearing suits. I was like, again, makes sense, especially at a time when men were the main ones in the office and they were all wearing heavy suits that were all those wool thick textures. Well, now suits are not as thick as they used to be, and also more women are in those offices.
Yeah.
Or like the airbags have never been tested on women.
Test dummies. Oh my god.
They're like male bodies.
There's so many things. And so I think that's why I say, like, I think this book is important for people to read just so you can be an informed person in the world.
Yes.
And make decisions for yourself in a lot of situations as a woman, as a man, knowing all this information.
Right.
I think it is so important. So I cannot wait for you to read this book.
Now that I feel like I really know what it's about, I'm like real excited to read it. I definitely thought it was about something else that it's not about completely. So that was kind of on me. But you should have brought it to the podcast earlier, and then I would have been like, oh, this sounds just
I read
like
this
me.
book in 2023 maybe.
Yeah, it was before we started this.
I recommend this book to people all the time. Anytime anyone mentions AI, I talk about this book, because if AI is
and that's
pulling,
why I think I thought it was about technology.
If AI is pulling data, but the data it's pulling from is biased, then do people know enough to keep that consideration in mind when they're using AI to generate all of their ideas?
Like
and
people
things
who are asking it like legal questions and things like that. Well, are they telling you if you were a man, you could probably get this accomplished? You know what I'm saying? If they're pulling from things that typically like the people who had power in those positions were typically men, and like they got these things like, because it's just pulling. I mean, the AI doesn't know if it's male or female. Like, they're just pulling information that's out there.
Yeah. And if the information that's out there is already biased, then that's just going to be perpetuated. So it is fascinating. It is a little enraging in that you're like, how can this be that we're still in this place today? In a lot of instances, like there's a little bit of like rage inducing there, but it's informative and it totally.
But I think we're still there because people
don't know.
People aren't willing to read books like this because they think they're going to be too aggressive, or like, we live in such a political environment in America where it's like, if you are more conservative, you would see this book and be like, I don't want to read it. When it's like, that's not what it's about. But these types of topics have been put into political parties. Like, oh, if you want to talk about, feminism, it has to be over here, or this has to be over here. And so it's like, we just are so quick to dismiss these types of books, which is why I think it's important for me
to be open
to be open, but for me to also say like, hey, I was really pleased with the way that she was using language. Yeah. That it didn't feel like aggressive. It was just kind of like matter of fact, like, again, this is just where we are. So anyways.
Such a good book.
That
Such
was a wild range of books that we just brought.
It was.
Well, I think that's it for the Reading Roundup.
We rounded those books up.
We rounded them up. Okay, so let's move on to our Spotlight segment.
Yes. For today's Spotlight segment, we are going back to high school.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's talk about required reading. Specifically, the books that somehow became the books we collectively decided every teenager in America should read. We're going to break this down into 3 categories. What stays, what goes, and if it goes, what are we replacing it with? So
we were kind of thinking about Spotlight segments, and we were like, it's back to school time. Like, what could we do? And then we started talking about this. We're like, this is really interesting. So obviously, personally, I am a English teacher. I'm at the college level, but the point of my job and the passion of my job is very similar to the high school level, hopefully, in the sense of like, I don't necessarily think the problem is that we're teaching old books. some people are like, well, they just don't read old books anymore. Like, we can't read the classics and da-da-da. I don't think that's true, okay? And so I want to like state that clearly. The problem is not old books. I mean, some old books can be hard and challenging, and are some of those picks? Yes. So I think it needs to be a mixture, but I don't want to be like, these are all too old, we don't want to read them. So
we pulled together some books that show up again and again on high school reading lists to give our opinions on if we think they should stay or go. And it was honestly really interesting.
It was
doing
so fun.
some research on this.
Like, I was typing some of this out, and she was like reading things to me, and I was like, I could just sit here and like type this out all day and like never even use it. It was just so fun to like talk about it. So we're gonna go pretty nerdy for a little bit, and like I said, kind of going back to high school and like, what should we be teaching?
Yeah. This might jog some of your memories. Did you read these books when you were in high school? Did you avoid these books when you were in high school?
Which has been fun to talk about too.
Yeah.
Beccah as a high schooler was way different than Beccah now.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all those were on my list. I probably read 2 of them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, we haven't read all of these. But which ones did we read, and how do we feel about them being there still today? So it's been a fun topic. Let's dive in.
Let's do it. Okay, so we started with like some of the old reliables, is like what we were calling it, the patron saints of American high school English. So we pick some of the big ones that I hear constantly from my college students, like these were the ones that we read or whatever. So I'm going to start with The Great Gatsby, because I think that is one that gets mentioned all the time.
Yeah.
And I even bring it up in class when I'm teaching like symbolism. And I'm like, how many of you guys read The Great Gatsby in high school? And everyone's like, ooh, they're like all moaning about it or whatever. And I'm like, so did your teacher, I literally say this in class, I'm like, did your teacher say like, what does that green light symbolize? And then I teach them symbolism, and I'm like, we talk about the green light and like the eyes on the billboard, and who are those eyes watching? And like, those are God's eyes. You know, like that kind of stuff. But it is funny, even years later, for them in my class to be like, oh, that's what that green light. Oh, okay. Why didn't my teacher just tell me that? Because I want you to figure it out. And that's what the problem is because we haven't fully developed critical thinkers to get to those. Anyways, I'm zip there. Okay. But my question for this one is, does it still do something for teenagers that another book could do better? Because it's a classic.
Yeah. I think this one is still very valuable.
I do too.
And it is so known as like, this is a book you read in high school. Like, it's such a universal experience for American high schoolers to read this book, to analyze some of those themes. Yes. Yeah, I think it is still a good one to be on the list. I think
what's really cool about Gatsby, one, I mean, Fitzgerald is a great exposure. People need to be exposed to Fitzgerald because he is one of our classic authors who was very important. But also students tend to still be really interested in like that 20s. And like the parties. It's like the parties and the alcohol and all these things. If nothing reaches teenagers like that, like I don't know what does. And so I do think there are things they still find interesting about this. I think that what they find less interesting is when you start trying to get the new, like, okay, so Daisy and whatever. Like those things are important, but maybe bringing in some like the other like more sub themes to help bring context to them. But I also think we have like newer movies of this. Like obviously we have the Leonardo DiCaprio movie. It's not new now, it's years old, but there's ways to like pair this with a modern viewing that could make it way more interesting to students. Yeah. But if you had to replace it, there are some things that are similar that honestly, there were less ones that were similar to this just because of what it is specifically doing for that whole idea of like...
Yeah, the American dream.
Yes. And so one of them that I think would be a good one that I really liked is The House on Mango Street. Obviously completely different. We're not having the parties and the alcohol and all that, but still that experience of like finding an identity and like what the American dream looks like to a person, I think is pretty similar. Like those themes could cross.
Yeah. I was thinking The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. That one is a lot about like reinvention and identity and kind of pursuing that dream that you have and how you reinvent yourself for that. It also goes into themes of race and passing and things that maybe aren't included in The Great Gatsby just because of who wrote it and who is in it.
Who wrote it, the time period, and your main characters are all rich white people.
Yeah.
But that's what's interesting about it is that like you see the corruption of those parties, but you still want to be a part of it. Like you still want on the inside, which is like its own critique of like wealth and all the stuff. Yeah, you're not going to get those as much in these two, but both of these are also really good diverse options to get a little bit more diversity in a classroom too.
Yeah, but I think we can keep The Great Gatsby.
I think it should be kept. Personally, a lot of students do hate it though, but I feel like it just needs to be taught different. But anyways, okay. The next one is To Kill a Mockingbird.
So this is where the conversation could get a little bit more complicated because it has been such a staple of American classrooms. And a lot of times the goal is talking about racism, injustice, morality, empathy, the American legal system. So the question is this still the book that we want to do most of that work? Or are there books by Black authors rather than Harper Lee, who's a white author, that we'd rather put at the center of that conversation?
I think that's where I fall more on this one. Like, I think this is a great book. I don't necessarily think that this should be a book that should be dismissed and like we don't use it anymore. But I do think it is some of these themes that at this time period, a white woman would have been able to publish these themes easier than a person of color.
Right.
But now we do have books with these same types of themes that are written by people of color. So it's going to be obviously
more true to their experience. Yeah.
We were talking about like reading To Kill a Mockingbird and another book and comparing it like perspective of how it was written by a white woman versus like a person of color.
Yeah.
So,
and this is something that I feel like in the research that we did, we're seeing more often several other books being taught in classrooms for some of these themes. Some of those books, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, that's one that is a lot more prevalent today. Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, Their Eyes Were Watching God, Zora Neale Hurston, The Color Purple, Alice Walker, and then you had one.
Yeah, so I was telling somewhere about a book called Monster by Walter Dean Myers. It's actually probably even younger than high school reading level, which could be good for some pockets of American education. Not trying to be like a jerk with that, but unfortunately that's a reality.
Yeah.
It is probably like upper middle grade reading level, but we've even used this book in the college setting because of how strong the themes of like that racism, injustice, morality. It's about a young boy who gets like what did I say earlier? I'm already blanking.
Like incorrectly convicted of a crime.
Okay. Yeah, it's about a boy who gets like convicted of a crime, pretty sure like robbing a grocery store, but he didn't do it. But he gets convicted anyways, goes to jail, and like what the jail system does to him, then to find out that he didn't do it, so he gets released, but the damage had already been done. And it is interesting because very much like the whole legal system side of it, you are seeing some like the court type things. So I think that
could be in conversation.
Yeah.
With.
Also a much simpler read. So it's super quick. And I do remember the like kind of being a mixed medium a little bit. So I think that would be easy, like not easier, but I think that would be attractive to younger readers.
Yeah.
I will say whenever I teach these themes in my women's literature class, I of course would only teach these themes with a Black author, which again, when we're looking at classics and the old books in the canon, we had less of those to choose from.
Right.
So not dismissing this book, but I do think like this semester for this exact reason, I'm actually teaching Their Eyes Were Watching God in class because I think Hurston is so important. A lot of schools do The Color Purple because Alice Walker is obviously one of our most incredible. I saw Toni Morrison pop up a little bit with Beloved. I don't see it as often, but she's also a good one.
That one, when I saw it in our research, it was much more like higher level AP courses because it does have so many themes that are.
And Toni Morrison, I would say her writing is a little bit more elevated. So for high school students who may not be readers, I think that one could be, I think she could be a little bit more challenging for them. Some Alice Walker too, but I think not necessarily this one because it's more letter-like. So anyways, then we get The Scarlet Letter.
Oh, The Scarlet Letter.
Does Hester Prynne survive the purge?
That is so funny.
I thought that was hilarious. Okay, so first of all, you've had to have read this, right? You read this in high school.
Oh, yeah, I read this in high school.
This is one of those iconic high school stories. And here's the thing. What you remember, whether you enjoyed it or not.
I did not.
Most people don't because it's like, who's just going to enjoy this story about adultery and like this dude like beating himself out of like religious like shame? It's just weird. And it is a weird book, right? And how we try to pair it with is obviously early America and Puritanism and all the things, which is important. We need to be teaching those works. But the themes that we're looking for is obviously the Puritanism, shame, hypocrisy, gender, sin, and early American type, whatever. Great, fine, we need all that. But I think, why are we using this Hawthorne? That's what gets me, because students hate it. And Nathaniel Hawthorne is not an easy read because his sentences are very complex. They're super long. He has like paragraph long sentences. Like he's a challenge to read because he's also an early American writer. Sorry. I would replace this personally if I had the choice with Hawthorne still, because he is like the king of this time period in America. So I do think he's important to know who he is. Young Goodman Brown, The Minister's Black Veil. These are both short stories that he wrote. Very gothic, very ghosty. He really liked that kind of stuff. A lot of witch type stuff. Like, I don't remember all the details of Young Goodman Brown, but what I remember of it is like a campfire in the middle of the forest and people circling it and chanting and like and like these things happening, very like witchy like, because that's what we're dealing with here, witches, you know. So we got to kill them all. And they're always women. Always women. So Young Goodman Brown in particular is almost like identical on themes to Scarlet Letter. And these are short stories. Read those instead.
Yeah.
Personally.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, next. 1984.
That's a fun one.
I remember reading this one in high school, and it was one of the ones that I enjoyed reading.
Yeah.
I think this one is still important.
I do too.
We still talk about surveillance, propaganda, language manipulation, censorship, truth, government power. There's so much you can do with this book just beyond the literary analysis. And honestly, teaching teenagers the concept of doublethink feels pretty useful. But if you're thinking about replacing it with something else, a lot of people now are starting to include the Hunger Games in required
As
reading.
they should.
Because it also deals with a lot of those themes.
Yeah.
And it's maybe a little bit more accessible for...
And I think that if you did some Hunger Games stuff with the new, I actually think the latest book,
Sunrise on the Reaping
deals with these themes in particular of like the propaganda and all of the censorship type stuff. But you do get those themes in all of them. But that one, it's like explicit, like with the propaganda. I think seeing the Hunger Games pop up more and more is really cool.
I think so too. I think it is a great one for addressing a lot of those themes.
Yeah. Any other ones that you could do there?
People are using The Handmaid's Tale or The Parable of the Sower might be a good one.
Yeah, that could be a good one. Also a Black author.
Octavia Butler.
So Black sci-fi author, which is even cooler. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think 1984 is important. I think students do like it because it is like, so like, oh my gosh, he wrote this when? And like these things still feel like today. Like, I don't know. It feels so real. I think that's why students like it. Okay, so The Old Man and the Sea. This one is interesting to me. Obviously, Old Man, Boat, Fish. You did read this one in high school.
I did read this one in high school.
I did not. What did you think about it? Do you remember?
I don't really remember much about it other than like, I have to read this, but it's a short story, so I guess I can read it kind of quickly.
But it's also Hemingway.
Yeah, it wasn't, I don't remember enjoying it.
Yeah. I do think people want exposure to Hemingway, which is why they do it. But to be honest, like, I don't think that Hemingway has to be like a required reading in high school. Like, I think maybe some AP classes, because he is also very difficult to read. He's a challenging author. I'm not dismissing Hemingway. He's super important. But in a high school, just normal classroom setting, I think that they could explore some different books that would kind of meet these needs.
Yeah.
I would like throw out some options of like Life of Pi by Jan Martel. I don't know if you've ever read that book. That book changed my life, and I read it in high school. And it's about the kid who gets trapped in the middle of the ocean. It's incredible. Into the Wild by John, is it Krakauer?
Krakauer.
Krakauer? Yeah, thanks. I've never read the book, but I've watched the movie. That's a pretty heavy, some heavy material. But
The Things They Carry, Tim O'Brien. I read that in high school. That's also pretty heavy.
Yeah, Tim O'Brien. One we thought was interesting that we were seeing kind of pop up a little bit with these similar themes of kind of like those like maybe like the man versus nature.
And the journey to return home. And
we've been seeing The Martian by Andy
Weir
pop up. We thought that was pretty cool. I think The Alchemist would also be a cool one to put here. Young people actually connect to The Alchemist more than you would think they do.
Yeah.
I think it's not super long and it is kind of like an adventure story. So that's a good one.
Okay, next we have Lord of the Flies. So this is where a group of children are left without adult supervision and immediately establish a nightmare society. I find this completely plausible. If we cut it, what replaces it? If we want to discuss in the human nature, civilization, power, groupthink, violence, what people do when society rules disappear, maybe some possible replacements, the Stanford Prison Experiment documentary or podcast. I mean, that's an interesting one to learn about.
Yeah, if you don't know what that is, it's literally a experiment that Stanford University did where they put students for a weekend and kind of said, you guys are prison guards, you guys are prisoners, and there was no supervision, and the violence that occurred because of the power regime that took over, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
And so you can watch the documentaries or listen to podcasts about it. But again, that is like kind of what happens in Lord of the Flies, which some people really do like Lord of the Flies. I think it just needs to be taught correctly. But I think that's a cool like visual media that could be some, or
like
audio.
A pairing with it. Yeah.
Or like I want them to talk about these themes, but I want something a little bit more modern. I think a documentary or podcast is really cool.
Yeah. Also, The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. That's another one that I read in high school.
Yeah, short story too. So
a little bit more accessible and written by a woman.
Okay, so we can't forget Shakespeare because we have to do. You have to. I was telling Summer like he's a hard one to even do. Like, what would you replace it with? Because there isn't. Something else like that. There are other playwrights, but still, I mean, Christopher Marlowe is the only one that's going to be at his time period, which if you're going to read Christopher Marlowe or Shakespeare,
you're going to pick Shakespeare, yeah.
I mean, Chaucer maybe, but Chaucer is earlier. Like Chaucer's Middle English, Shakespeare's Modern English. So if it's like a language issue, Chaucer's not good to replace him with because Chaucer's harder to read. But if you only get one, what Shakespeare do you pick? A lot of people do Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet. Those are the two I see the most. Or sorry, Macbeth.
Yeah, I did both of those.
I think Macbeth is a fun one because of like a little bit of the brutality of it. And like you get the witches and it's like dark, which some students. But I will say like I did read it in high school and then we'd watch like a movie adaptations. And the adaptations for Macbeth, I was always kind of like, I don't know. They never hit right for me for some reason. If I had to expose someone to Shakespeare, I would probably not really do any of these. I would do like a Midsummer Night's Dream or something like that.
Tragedy,
yeah. But Romeo and Juliet, I always think is a good one. Students relate to it because it is the young love, the like you can't be together kind of thing. And there's been so many modern retellings and adaptations that you could very easily like pair some stuff to make that fun.
I had to memorize a sonnet from Romeo and Juliet in freshman 9th grade English.
Do you remember it?
No.
It's like, do it right now. But one thing I think that like a lot of people are like, oh, students hate Shakespeare. I don't think that Shakespeare needs to disappear. And I don't think that students hate Shakespeare because if he did, they still wouldn't be watching the adaptations of everything that's Shakespeare. His themes are universal. We love his characters. What students struggle with is the language. So first of all, there are so many, like the No Fear Shakespeares are awesome. They have the original Shakespeare on one side and modern on the other side. Get those read those. It's not a shame to be like, I struggle reading Shakespeare. Everyone does. We don't use those words anymore. Well, we do, but you know what I mean. So I do think that the problem with Shakespeare is we teach Shakespeare in the least exciting way possible. It's like these were plays, people. They're murderers. There's ghosts. Yeah, there's ghosts. There's witches. There's sex jokes. Talk about another thing that high schools are going to be giggling about. But if they don't get it, they're not going to think it's funny. Betrayal, all these things. And so it's like, then we just tell like this 15, 16-year-old, like, hey, take this and read Act 2 for homework. Like, what? Like, they're not going to enjoy that. So watch the play, perform scenes from it, read parts out loud. I teach one-act plays in class all the time, and I make my students get up and read it. You don't have to act it out. We're just reading parts. It makes it much more exciting.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think Shakespeare can be done in a fun way.
Yeah. And he should. I think the reason people don't think he's good is because that's how he's been taught. And I'm like, he's brilliant. Okay, sorry.
Should we talk Shakespeare conspiracy theories. Throwback to an old episode.
Right, as I say, you all know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Well, the next one for summer, I think, is a good one.
Yeah. So are you talking about the Odyssey?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is interesting. I understand why we teach it. I'm a big mythology girly. A lot of it goes back to my Percy Jackson love. It's foundational. Its fingerprints are everywhere. You've got the hero's journey, monsters, gods, temptation, homecoming, loyalty, identity, storytelling. The references are scattered throughout Western literature and popular culture. Cyclops, sirens, Circe, Penelope, the Trojan horse.
I literally used the word Cyclops in a text message last night to somebody. And that all comes from this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So the question is, do high school students need to read the whole thing?
No.
I agree. I don't think they need
the whole thing. It can be brutal, y'all. Adults can barely read the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. So many people attempted before the movie came out and then were like, oh, wait, this is an epic poem that's so long.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's not maybe necessary to read the whole thing.
Take excerpts.
To analyze those themes, to get the story and the structure and the importance. Do the Cyclops, do Circe, the sirens, give them the journey to the underworld. Teach them who Odysseus is, what an epic is, talk about oral tradition, the Greek gods. But then maybe we don't spend an entire unit making 15-year-olds follow Odysseus around the Mediterranean while Poseidon refuses to let the man go home for 10 years.
I mean, even people who watched the new movie were like, it's really about a movie just about a guy trying to get home for 3 hours.
Yeah, which is like its own genre of Matt Damon movies.
Yes.
Talk about the
those
Martian.
Jokes are so funny.
So we were thinking about some other mythology things to analyze some of those themes. Honestly, do an excerpt of the Odyssey. Do some Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
That makes it accessible in a fun way. Do Circe by Madeline Miller. That reframes it in an interesting way, which I actually really liked the way that...
I think it'd be fun to read her story in the Odyssey and then read the book.
Yes.
By Madeline Miller.
And then watch maybe the scene from the Christopher Nolan film. Because there's
all three of those together.
There's a lot of interesting things there. The Hobbit has a lot of those themes about
Not
the hero's
mythological,
journey.
but fantastical and the grand adventure type thing.
And then if you want to do something that's maybe not Greek mythology, because that is maybe all that's ever taught, maybe use a different type of mythology, another culture mythology, like American Born Chinese. That's a graphic novel. That
you were telling me about this one. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, so it dives into a lot of that like identity, culture, but it explores that with Chinese mythology. This one was adapted into a TV show on Disney Plus that was really cute. And so that might be a fun, and it's a graphic novel, so that might be more accessible to kids. It might introduce them to another form. So there's options. Yeah. I do think the Odyssey is still, or just Greek mythology in general, is still important.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, because it does teach, there's a lot of foundation in our literature in general that comes from Greek and Greek oral tradition, so I think it's important to be exposed. Those are the only ones we're going to like deep dive on. Some other big ones we see, like The Crucible. I love The Crucible. Summer has not read The Crucible.
I have not.
But it's another Puritan witches. Should we kill them? Night by Elle Wiesel. It's Holocaust.
So good.
So good. The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Written in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep.
The Outsiders is fantastic, and the movie was also fantastic. And it's kind of like a cult classic a little bit. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, Catcher in the Rye by Salinger, right?
That sounds right.
J.D. Salinger?
That sounds right.
That sounds right. Animal Farm by George Orwell.
Metamorphosis by Kafka.
And then Fahrenheit
451.
By Ray Bradbury. It's like, man, we really got those names out. I'm impressed that we got all those authors. But again, those are like really...
common.
They're really common. We could have went on and on. Like this could be an entire episode. But that is like I have some thoughts about some of those, but we don't have time. So our last thing we're going to do really quick is it's easy for us to be like, stop teaching these canonized books, like
the
classics. But that isn't an easy fight. Like you're not just going to get school districts to be like, okay, let's do it.
Never again.
Never again. So if you were to add things like a little bit more modern to these lists, are there some books you can think of that like you would add?
Yes. So there were two areas that immediately popped into my mind of like maybe some gaps in what we're teaching and analyzing thematically. I think, especially in America, there's a gap in teaching Indigenous history.
Yes,
or just
which is so crazy. But
yeah. I think a great book for maybe some older high school, because of there is some more mature thematic stuff going on. But Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley is a great book to talk about some Indigenous identity, opioid crises, like all kinds of things. There's so much in those books. And it's a really engaging novel that kids are going to like reading.
Yeah, people like it. It's also part of a series, so it could get your get these younger adults like reading more. Like they read that one, they're like, oh, there's another one, and like it's also that's encouraging more literacy. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and more learning, because every one of those books in that series teaches you so much that, like, as an American, you should probably know. So the other area that I thought was a bit of a gap was the idea of like disability. And I think that would be something important, especially as like teenagers are about to go out into the world to explore and be guided through by a teacher. I think disability is something a lot of people stay away from because the idea of reading one thing and expecting that to cover like the whole spectrum. A lot of times books that deal with disability have very mixed reviews because disability is never like one size fits all. Yeah. And so I thought of a couple that might be good ones to teach in a classroom. But even then, some people are like, well, but that doesn't necessarily encompass all of neurodiversity, or that doesn't encompass all of.
But we can't do that in the time that we're given.
Yeah.
That's why we got to create a love for learning and for reading, and then people will explore. Like we do an entry point.
Yes. And so some that I think would be good for that. I've been seeing more and more The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. That's one that it doesn't explicitly state is about like neurodiversity or autism, but a lot of characteristics of that are seen in the main character.
Interesting.
Another one that just recently got an adaptation, Out of My Mind by Sharon M. Draper. It's about a girl with cerebral palsy that she's non-speaking, and they just did an adaptation, a movie adaptation of that I saw got really great reviews.
Really? I haven't even heard of it.
And it's about how this girl is just brilliant, but she can't express herself, and so people really underestimate her.
Interesting.
And so those are some entry points into disability.
Yeah. I'd also say a genre that I think that is missing, that like a lot of readers really enjoy, but we discredit it as a genre, is like fantasy.
Oh yeah.
And that would kind of throw in some of that sci-fi too, which was encouraging to see some sci-fi books like The Martian popping up a little bit.
Yeah.
But like fantasy is such a love genre that is way more like fun and engaging for some readers. I mean, not everyone loves fantasy, but like I'm even thinking like we know statistically like females read more than males, but a lot of like male love genres are things like fantasy and things like that. Now, obviously that's overgeneralizing, but we're not exposing them to like actual credible, like Tolkien, like The Hobbit or something, which is like, he is the father of fantasy. The movies and the books still have stood the test of time. Young people love them. Old people love them. My son had a Hobbit birthday party, right? And it's like, what a cool entry point that you could be doing the same thing that these Greek mythology books are discussing with like these grand epic adventure stories, which were a huge part in early American literature, and we just like skip them.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm not a big fan of this book, but like Robinson Crusoe, you have all of these like adventure type books, but we don't ever put them on any, like they're in the canon, they're canonized. I'm doing quotes. Well, that's a whole other conversation, but we're not teaching those in class because they don't seem like academic enough.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not the point of why we're having them read these. Like what you get academically from books can come from any book.
Yeah.
Reading teaches your critical thinking.
I love when Professor Beccah comes
I know.
out.
This got real like professory, but it is back to school. This is our back to school episode.
This was how you get back into the swing of things with work this semester.
It's how I made August not so terrible. Okay, well, let's end there because we were getting really
in the weeds.
In the weeds. So I think that's it, Summer.
Yeah.
And now we can go be friends again since we haven't seen each other in so long. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of I Reckon I'll Read It. Thank you for listening and joining in on our bookish discussions.
If you enjoyed our podcast, please take a moment to rate and review us on whichever platform you're using to listen. That will help us to grow and find more people to talk books with.
Don't forget that we link each of these books we talk about in the episode on our show notes, so check those out if you're interested in one of the titles we mentioned.
And connect with us on social media. You can find us at I Reckon I'll Read It on Instagram. And Threads and TikTok.
Yeah, we really want to push our TikTok right now. We've been doing like a little bit more fun type posting on our TikTok because that platform just...
It's a little different.
Yeah, it's just different. So if you follow us, also go check us out on TikTok if you have one because...
We've been having fun with it.
We've been having fun with it. Okay, guys, we're going to cut and run. Join us next episode on I Reckon I'll Read It.
Bye. Hunt Athalar is a notorious fallen angel, now enslaved to the Archangel. Archangel. Let me try that again.
My niece used to send me text messages. She was a little girl when she first got a phone. She was like, I don't know, 8 or 9. And it'd be like, good night, sleep with the angels.
That's cute. Okay.